Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about a little thing called cold reading, our favorite thing in the world as actors. No. Actually, once you know what you're doing, cold reading can be very fun. So I'm going to talk to you about my approach to cold reading. I was inspired to do this because today I had a cold reading and it was my first cold reading in a very long time. And while I was there, I just thought about a lot of things that were really important and useful to me in that situation that I haven't really discussed specifically in the form of a cold reading. So I'm going to talk to you about cold readings and just give you a few hints. Now, cold reading, for those of you who don't know, are auditions where you go in and you have not been given any preparatory materials prior to the audition. Once you get there, they will give you sides, which will just be, sheets of paper with the scene that they want you to do. They will note a start and stop location for the scene as well as who you're reading for. So that can sound kind of overwhelming when you think about it. You're walking into this room with something that you've never seen before and you're reading for a character that you have no idea who they are, and they're expecting you to do good work in front of them all last minute. But there are several things that you can do to prepare before you get to this audition room so that you can give your best performance. The first thing is research. Depending on the production, sometimes these things are easy to find, sometimes they're hard to find. But no matter what, more often than not, you can always find information about a production, whether it's theater, television, film, or otherwise. All you have to do is a simple Google search of the title of the show. Look it up. Find it. Find everything that you can. Sometimes you will find as little as what they call a log line in television and film, which is a 2-sentence synopsis of what the series or the movie is about. That happens when things are early in production, or if they're brand new and they haven't even started production and you're going in for, say, pilot season for the TV show, or if it's a movie and it hasn't been filmed yet, obviously, if you're going in for the audition. So you might just only find a log line and it just gives you a 2-sentence synopsis. You can also usually find in these cases press releases from different publications that tell you who's producing it, who's directing it, who are your lead actors, and it kind of gives you a mood and a sense of what the show is going to be. Whatever you can find, it's going to be good information. Now, sometimes you can find way more than that. Sometimes you do a Google search and you can find a plethora of material, especially in things that have already been produced, like plays that are being remounted or musicals. You can find a lot of information. You can find YouTube videos of productions. In my case, I was actually able to find a PDF version of the play that I was able to download, print out, and read before the audition even happened. You can find reviews, you can find synopses, you can find a whole host of information. So no matter what you can find, dig up as much as possible because it's only going to be helpful before you go in. So once you've done your research on the production that you're about to audition for, the first thing that you want to do when you walk in is, of course, get your sides. If you can go into the audition space early, sometimes they have time limits on that. Sometimes for certain auditions, they ask that you don't come 10 minutes before your appointment, whatever the case may be. Get in as early as you possibly can and grab that script. Once you get your script, you're going to have all this knowledge in your head based on your research. If you have a plethora of knowledge, if you were able to read an entire script, muy bueno. If you haven't been able to read the entire script, that's fine. You still have gotten all the information that you possibly can, and you're in the same position as anyone else who's done just as much research. So have no fear. So once you're in that audition holding room, the first things first, once you're signed in, all of that, you need to grab your script and you need to read through the script at least one time just to know where you are, just to get a very basic idea of what's going on. And then you need to apply 3 of the most fundamental things that you should always be applying to your work. You need to discern who are you talking to. Who is it the person or people opposite you that you're speaking to, and decide what that relationship is. Second thing, figure out what your objective is. What do you want in this scene? So important. The next thing is figure out how you're going to try to get what you want, your actions. So your who you're talking to, your objective, and your actions. Those are the 3 things that you need to focus on when it comes to your cold read. So look back at your script, decide on those things, make notes if you need to, and then go back and read the script as many times as you can with those things in mind. And once you get into a good groove of who you're talking to, what your objective is, you're actively searching for it, you're actively trying different things, actions to get what you want, or tactics, we call those as well. Then the next layer is stepping back a little bit from the script. This is my favorite part, because once I've put the work in, I've done the research, I've decided who I'm talking to, I've decided what my objective is, I've decided what my actions and my tactics are, I step back, take a breather, and then with all of that knowledge in my head, I go back and read through the script as me, as Tiffany. And I go through and find the truth of that for myself. And this is my favorite part, because I think that one of the principles that I learned when I attended, I always talk about this, but it was one of the most important experiences for me as an actor. But I took a summer program at the Yale School of Drama, and one of my acting teachers said, acting is the color purple. I've discussed this before in previous videos, but basically the idea is that the character that you're approaching or trying to be is red and you are blue. When we're doing our best work, the work is the color purple, because it's a beautiful blend of yourself and the character. It's not just you playing out a part, and it's not just you doing any old thing as yourself, but it's a marriage of the two. So I always try to make sure I add that last layer. And then once I get into a good groove of that, I try to just marry all of those things. And usually that just happens along the way as I'm reading it as myself, because usually time, place, who I'm talking to, all of that is imaginary circumstances that don't necessarily belong to my own experience. So I'm already in a sense playing the character, but I just really try to tap into who I am and how Tiffany relates to that. And there you have it. That's cold reads. Now, this may be easier said than done. Of course, it takes some time. Sometimes you get in and you have all of 10 minutes to prepare a cold read. Sometimes you'll have maybe an hour. At the end of the day, it's going to take some practice. It's going to take some time, and eventually you'll get more and more comfortable in this. But basically, it's just about learning what you need to do first things first, and being able to pump out that product as soon as possible. But with a lot of practice, you're going to get better no matter what. So hopefully this was helpful for anyone. If you have any more specific questions or even comments, please feel free to comment below, write to me below. I will definitely get them and I'll definitely respond. And until next time, keep kicking in all those auditions, and happy cold reading. Let my hands be yours.